Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Juji. This is HD by Z. Here we talk about personal development and relationships and all sorts of other things through the human design system. I'm so glad you're here because today we're going to be talking about 2027. In my last video, I had the honor of talking to a couple, Megan and Aaron, about what they experienced when I was coaching them with human design about a year ago. And Megan mentioned 2027, which I thought was a great segue into this very frequently discussed topic in the human design community, but it may not be something that you're familiar with. So I wanted to give you some insight about why I feel human design is such an incredible tool for the future. I touched on this a little bit in my video about spirituality and how it fits in with human design. Because human design is a cosmic update. It's a new way for us to move through the world, which is going to be critical in this future that 2027 holds. So what am I really talking about? Well, according to human design, there's going to be an enormous shift in the background frequency that we're all experiencing. The background frequency of the last 400 plus years has been about the cross of planning. The future we're moving into is the cross of the sleeping phoenix. To illustrate this, I'm going to share my screen with you for a moment. All right, so what are we looking at? Well, every time I talk to you guys about a chart, I read off all of the descriptors on the right-hand side of the screen, including the incarnation cross under which the person was born. This represents the sun and the earth positions on both the personality and the design side of somebody's chart. But there's also a background frequency that we've all been experiencing. And the background frequency since 1615 has been the cross of planning, which is illustrated right here on the left. This cross includes 4037, this channel of community between the solar plexus and the ego, gate 9 and gate 16. And as you can see, they form a cross on the I Ching mandala that we're looking at right here. And the cross of planning represents the bargain. It represents community. It represents organization. We have had incredible leaps and bounds in the last 400 years in our global marketplace, in our governments, in the education systems that we have created. But now we can see that they're starting to unravel because we're shifting into the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which consists of the channel 3720 from the sacral to the throat, and gate 55 and gate 59. This is a very individualistic type of frequency. It's all about selfish survival in the now. And when I say selfish, I don't mean greedy. That's what we associate with selfishness, is greed. But really, capitalism, which was created through the cross of planning, is what's greedy. Selfish individual survival is about making sure that you're okay first before you help anyone else. This is all about your own individual expression and your own individual truth. As we move closer and closer to this 2027 shift, we're experiencing a duality in our worlds. The polarization has everything to do with both sides feeling that their truth is the only truth. But what 2027 represents is that there's actually billions of truths. Your truth, my truth, and everybody else's truth. That's what being an individual is all about. And that is the future that human design is here to help us prepare for. You see, at its core, human design is about making decisions. And when you're making decisions correctly as yourself, you're taking care of yourself in a way that doesn't have to do with what other people need or what other people think. You actually may be called selfish if you start doing this in your life. But following your own convictions and making sure that you take care of yourself before anybody else is a revolutionary act in some places. When you look at global politics and what's happening in the world through this lens, you can see that a lot of the old traditions are falling away. You can see that the response from certain global organizations just aren't holding up their end of the bargain. and it's nobody's fault. That's what human design says. We have no choice. What we're looking at might not look pretty, but it's a necessary part of our evolution. The sleeping phoenix represents burning down the old ways and rising from the ashes. And there's nothing wrong or bad about that. It's just about how you yourself are going to handle this. One of the things to recognize is that when the old ways start to shift, certain people hang on tighter than ever. This is because most people don't like change. The mind is not okay with uncertainty. But human design is here to help you feel more comfortable with the uncertainty of what's to come because you know that you can trust yourself. This also doesn't mean that communities are going to fall apart immediately. In fact, communities might be leaning more on each other as we get closer and closer to this shift. As we see that supply chains are getting disrupted and it's getting increasingly more difficult to get materials from overseas, we might see a much more localized way of doing business. People growing their own food and sharing it, people creating work which used to be outsourced to other countries. It's going to be much more about the local economy than these big, enormous global economies that we see are no longer serving us. In human design, we talk a lot about 7-year cycles because 7 years is the length of time it takes for your cells to completely regenerate. This is why we say that it takes 7 years to decondition. From the time that you get your first reading, it takes 7 years for that information to truly imprint and have an effect on your life. All of that time spent in between is about shedding the old ways and seeing that strategy and authority is actually this new way for you to be in the world. So if we consider that 7-year cycles are really significant, then think about the fact that we are within that 7-year window of this enormous shift. And it all started in 2020. That was a very significant year for everyone on this planet. We all paused and took stock of what was important to us. And many of us made big moves because we realized that the lives we were living were no longer aligned or serving us. People left jobs, they left homes, they left cities that they no longer felt comfortable in. And a lot of people began to wonder if being part of these big organizations was something that they wanted to continue to do. You can see that a lot of people are starting their own businesses and working for themselves in an effort to be more of an individual instead of part of a team. I'm not saying that companies and teams are going to completely disappear. We don't know what it's going to look like, but that's the point. You never know what's going to rise from the ashes. It's just about whether or not you know how to take care of yourself as all of this unfolds in front of you. So now I want to talk about something that I personally created, knowing full well that the shift was going to be very destabilizing for people. The Beehive is an online community for women who are all learning how to trust themselves through strategy and authority. It's a support system I built so that nobody has to feel alone as they watch this unfold in front of them. What started out as this incredible resource for human design turned into something I could have never imagined, and I would love for you to join us and be a part of it. Some of the perks that you get by being a member of the Beehive is access to all my previous workshops. There's a lot of great material in there to help you understand yourself and those around you. Then we have a Slack chat group, which we're on all day. There's different channels where we discuss different aspects of human design. We drop memes, we share music. It's really fun. And once a week, we have a Zoom call where we can all connect about where we're at. People share their wins, their struggles. It's a really empowering place. I also invite other human design practitioners to give their own perspective about the system. We have Friends and Family Day where you can invite the people in your life to share the system with and geek out with us for a little bit. And I also invite other practitioners who are skilled in their own modalities to support you in any kind of healing that you may feel like you still need. It's an incredible sisterhood of women, and I would love you to join us. If you sign up today, you get a free one-on-one call with me where I walk you through all of the different perks and all of the ways to get the most out of your subscription. All right, guys, I'm done with my shameless plug. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get notified every time I drop a new video. My website will be in the show notes. There you can find all the different ways we can work together. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram at HD by Z. Comment below if you have any questions. Until next time, ciao for now.